Marvin Bagley returned from injury, and he recorded a double-double, 21 points and 18 rebounds. Take that, Kings fans. We did win the trade.
You're going to come for your head now.
It's all good. Find me on Twitter. Anyways, 21 points, 18 rebounds. He probably saw that Wiseman news, and he's like, dude, fuck, I got to get healthy and get back out on the floor. My time might be coming up to an end. Do you think he's ready to compete for his spot on this team with the new big man?
Yeah, I think like what you said is like he probably saw the Wiseman trade and he was just like, man, they just traded for me last year.
Yep.
Like you got to kind of think in the back of his mind. He's probably like, oh, I'm gonna show out. And that's what he did, dude. He had a double-double in like I believe 12 minutes. And like just the game he had. I had tweeted it out. Like the Pistons missed his presence, even though he wasn't blocking shots. He was bothering shots. Him and Isaiah Stewart out there together, him and Wiseman out there together, like they looked good. And I can kind of see what Troy Weaver's vision was with these four bigs. He wants to control the glass. And I think that's what you have with those four bigs on your team, man. He just wants to control the glass, control the pace, grab those rebounds. Don't get bullied out there. But really happy for Bagley. I've been a very big Bagley supporter on this podcast. And to your question, yes, I do think he did see the Wiseman trade and said, oh, no, man, I'm a better post player. I'm going to show you how good I am.
So do you think there's a future for all four in Detroit?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I think, like I said, Troy's vision is I want to control the pace. And how do you control a game? Grabbing rebounds. And we saw an injury to Isaiah Stewart yesterday. He left, I believe, the second quarter with some hip soreness, and we'll get into the injury report in a little bit. But now you have, insurance. You have a backup. Like you still have Bagley, and you still have Wiseman because Duran didn't play because of an ankle injury, and then Stewart went out with hip soreness. So you're never going to be, short on bigs because you have four of them. And I think that's what Troy saw when he did trade for Bagley and what he saw when he did trade for Wiseman is he wants to have insurance policies, and you have to have insurance policies in the NBA because you never know who's going to get injured.
But I guess like what we all think of is that it's just there's not enough room in the garden for all these guys to grow. So you think any of these dudes really reach their potential if all four of them stay on the team for the next couple of seasons? Or do you think that some people do rise to the top like James was talking about last week?
Yeah, I think iron sharpens iron. James had tweeted that after practice, Bagley was actually teaching Wiseman some post moves.
Oh, wow.
So I think you have to think of it from that standpoint. You also have to think of it as James Wiseman and Isaiah Stewart both got drafted in the same 2019 class. They've been going at each other since high school. And I think, having that type of competition where you go against the guy that always, had the better of you all the way back from AAU to high school to college, that you're going to get better when you play against guys that know your weaknesses because then you have to develop more skill sets. And I think that's why Troy really did trade for Wiseman because he was really high on him. Did we need another big? No. But I think you see all across the NBA, a lot of these teams, like a Boston, like Cleveland, they do the two big lineups because they have the guards and the wings to kind of do that. Now, we don't really have the wings to do that. We hope we have the guards in Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, but I think all four of them can blossom here. And I think, you're kind of laying, I say lay the foundation all the time on this podcast. You're laying the foundation that we're going to beat you with our bigs. We're going to control the glass. We're going to, protect the rim. And I think you have that in all four of them. All four of them offer a different skill set. And I think that is very valuable in today's NBA.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Wiseman and Bagley are pretty similar. I think one of these guys is going to be feeling a little left out because they're not going to get as many minutes. I would say, like, based on what it seems like his personality. I think Marvin Bagley would probably be okay with taking the back seat and just kind of showing up when his name is called, like as an injury insurance. Like he's probably, I don't know, Marvin Bagley at this point is probably just happy to be on a team and collecting a check. And I wouldn't argue with him. I would love to be a pro basketball player playing like 17 minutes a game, collecting a check like that. Why not? I think that front court belongs to Duren, and the guys are going to be playing the big minutes alongside of him are Isaiah Stewart and James Wiseman and Marvin Bagley. If he wants to stick on this team, I still think try to show out and try to, put out your best performances every time you're on the floor. But I think that he's more of the insurance policy if all four of them stay on this team. I don't think anything's wrong with that. I think Marvin Bagley would accept that role as well.
Yeah, I think Bagley's a little bit more refined in the post than Wiseman. To your point, I do think they're similar, but what I would say is Wiseman's a lot more athletic, way more nimble. He runs the floor way harder. To me, we haven't really seen the lob threats, but I know he's a lob threat. I think with Bagley, he's more of that post presence. Like I remember when the Pistons had Mehmet Okur, and he was a very good post player. I think if you have Bagley as that type of just get him off the bench, and he's your post player, he can give you a good like 12 and 6 a night. I think that's very valuable. Not saying that he's going to be part of a championship team, but I can kind of see where Troy is going from a standpoint of like how to build a team, because you're going to have two bigs on your bench at all times, whether you want to play two bigs or not. But I think all of them offer something unique and special.